Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Well, today we are talking about Ghana versus Uruguay. So if you didn't know, well, first I think the first thing that you need to know is there's a saying, like there's a I don't know who said this saying, right? There are two versions of it. So I'll tell you the first version, which is which I don't know who said, right? The saying goes, the tree never forgets. The tree never forgets. But the axe forgets. Right? In other words, the tree remembers, but the axe forgets. Right? So you know when you've got an axe, an axe to cut trees with, the axe forgets that it cut down a tree. But the tree remembers, I used to be big. I was cut down by an axe. Okay? So what does this saying mean? This saying means that the one who does something bad, if you do something bad to someone, you most likely will forget it. But the one whom you have done a gross injustice against remembers. Right? So in the Bele they say, umenzi uyakhohlwa. Umenziwa akakhohlwa. Right? So the one who has the thing done against them, if somebody insults you or something when they're just passing by in the street, most likely they will forget it. So bullies usually forget how many people they bullied, right? But those who are bullied remember. Those who are bullied remember because they are the ones who were hurt. So why am I telling you this story? This is about football, right? Well, Ghana and Uruguay will be playing together, right? If you don't know when they're playing, I'll tell you just now. Ghana versus Uruguay. Okay, so in 2010, right? In 2010, in July, on the 4th of July, 2010, Ghana played Uruguay. And what happened on that day was it was 1-1. The match went into extra time. An African team, for context, has never made it into the top 4 of the World Cup, right? They've never made it into the final 4. They've never made it into the semifinals, right? Just like there's never been an Asian team in the semifinals. So there's never been a North American team in the semifinals too, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong because maybe Mexico have been, But anyway, so this African team looked like it was poised to go through because it was in the final minutes of extra time when Ghana had the ball flying into the goal. The goalkeeper was nowhere to be found, but standing right there in the path of the goal, in the path of the ball, was a man called Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez, the man who eats. No, he doesn't eat people. That's a lie, right? That's a lie that Africans made up after this, right? After this happened, rumors started that Luis Suarez actually had little babies for dinner. All those things came out after that. So Luis Suarez does not eat human beings, and no, Luis Suarez does not, torture dogs in his backyard and all this. These are just rumors that Africans started after Luis Suarez did what I'm about to tell you. So the ball was flying into the net. Should the ball cross this line, the Africans make it into the top 4 of the world for the first time in history. And it would have been so fitting because the tournament was being held in South Africa. But what does Luis Suarez do? Luis Suarez, instead, in football, if you're not a goalkeeper, you're not allowed to use your hands. You're supposed to use your head. You can use your back. You can use anything, but do not use your hand. Starting from up here, starting from the, as soon as your shoulder is over, you can't use anything there. Any part of your arm cannot be used to move the ball. That's all considered handball, okay? That's what they say in football. So Luis Suarez does not use his head. He does not jump to use his chest. He doesn't kick the ball away. No, Luis Suarez jumps like a goalie and pushes the ball out of the net. He pushes the ball from crossing the line, earning himself a red card earning Ghana a penalty. So it's not too bad. Maybe if Ghana score the penalty, Africans still go through. It's a fairly decent chance that the ball is going to be converted. Up steps Asamoah Gyan, who was young, who was popular at the time. He was the next best, striker basically in the world. And it looked like, yep, this boy is going to be like the future. But, he steps up. He tries to kick the goal. Well, he kicks a really... a ferocious shot. He kicks a ferocious shot. It flies past the goalie. It's nearly about to cross into the net, but it's a little bit too high. So it hits the goal post. It hits the crossbar, and it flies out of the ground. And then after that, it flies out of the pitch. It flies out of the pitch, and then after that, the match goes into penalties. Well, unfortunately, Ghana fail at the penalties, and Uruguay goes into the semifinals. Right? So now, the Uruguayans have forgotten what Luis Suarez did. But I promise you, every African, if there's one thing they can tell you about African history, they may not know what day their country attained independence. They may not know under which European power their country was colonized. They may not know the history of Shaka Zulu, is it Musa Mansa or whatever it was, They might not know about Timbuktu. They might not know about the pyramids in Sudan. They may not know about the Victoria Falls. They may not know about many things, but all Africans know about Luis Suarez. All of them. All Africans know about Luis Suarez, and all Africans remember. So if you're an African and you remember, and you don't remember, you need to go for therapy, because that means you have been bewitched, my friend. You have been bewitched. Because all Africans know that Luis Suarez is the one who said, no, you can't go to the semifinals, right? So that's what happened. That's what happened, guys. So why am I telling you all this? Because, wow, as they say, as luck would have it, it's just our luck that Ghana and Uruguay are in the same group this time around at the World Cup. They are in Group H. They are both in Group H, and they have a match to play. And in Group H, the standings in Group H right now, you've got Portugal with 6 points. You've got Ghana with 3 points. You've got Uruguay with 1 point. You've got South Korea with 1 point, right? So that means that if we get to that final round of matches, which will be the final round of matches will be on the 3rd of December on Saturday at 2 a.m. I'm not going to watch this game. I'm not going to be watching this game because I will be sleeping. Because I'll be going to church the next day, right? So I'm not watching this game. But what a game, right? Anyway, Uruguay playing Ghana, 2 a.m. On Saturday. So what this basically means is that it's going to be a grudge match. It's going to be a grudge match. Now, back to our story. Do you think the people of Uruguay wake up every time and remember what Luis Suarez did in 2010? No, they don't have to remember that, because it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to them. They were not heartbroken. They're the ones who broke hearts. So the heartbreaker forgets, the heartbroken remembers. Right? So the heartbroken Ghanaians are going to be remembering. The heartbroken Africans are going to be remembering on this day, on the 8th of December, 2 a.m. Australian time, right? The Africans will be remembering what happened in July 2010. They'll be remembering. So it's going to be a grudge match. So that means it's going to be a great match. So very, very, very enticing match. So I just thought this deserves a video. So it's going to be very interesting. And I don't know how I'm going to avoid the news about this match, because I don't like spoilers, right? So if you know me, don't call me on Saturday, right? Don't call me. My phone will be off. I think that's what I should do. Switch off my phone, go out in nature somewhere, and stay there. Stay there. Come back home at 10 p.m. And then now I can watch the game quietly. Then no one will spoil my joy, Anyway, that's what we're looking forward to. So that's my reaction to the result that happened today. It sets up a beautiful match The Africans will be trying to get their revenge against Luis Suarez, and the Uruguayans will just be trying to qualify because they don't hate them.